Hi everybody, this is Felice from Marajó Brazilian Bikinis. I promised you all that I'd try to launch or post a video at least once a week. So this is the third consecutive week and this is episode 3. And today I thought I'd talk about me, which is something I'm not very comfortable talking about. And I wanted to share my story with you because if you're like me, one of the first things I click on when I visit a website is the About page. I want to know who's behind the website, and I like to know a little bit about their story. It's a long story, but I'll try and keep it short. I was born in 1966 in Ames, Iowa. And over the many years I got married and have 2 daughters, and they are all Brazilian. And the story begins about 15 years ago when, after graduating from Ball State University with an MBA, like all MBA students, we work with quadrants, and I was trying to determine the direction of my life. And in this quadrant, I remember in the top left-hand side, knowing surely that I wanted to deal in the area of import and export. At the bottom left-hand quadrant, I filled in some ideas about being in Brazil, because I was in Brazil at the time, and knowing that I spoke frequent Portuguese and write Portuguese. So I thought somehow I could leverage being in Brazil and somehow importing and exporting something. The top right hand quadrant, I filled in some of my expertise, which was internet marketing and sales, and my love for dealing with people all over the world. So the bottom right hand quadrant had to be determining what that product or service would be. I know that it would be based on selling overseas or importing overseas. There would be a supplier or producer based in Brazil, because I was in Brazil too, and that it would be sold mainly through the internet and using sales and marketing techniques online. So the big question was, what would that product be? And this is where the story gets very, very interesting. I had listed things that Brazil was very well known for, and still is, obviously, purses and shoes and fashion. And one thing that I zeroed in on were bikinis. And the reason is I knew we could export large quantities without requiring a container or ship to load the product. So it was easy to send a box of at least 250 bikinis and have it expedited within a few days to any country in the world. And so I did a Google search, and up came a few Brazilian bikini suppliers, and the first one was Marajó Brazilian Bikinis. And mind you, this was almost 15 years ago, and this story is really, really amazing. I get goosebumps every time I recount it, and it's quite moving. It is for me anyway. So I ended up visiting Marajó Bikini Shop. It was in Brás, in an area of São Paulo. And the minute I walked into the store, I asked to see the manager, and his name was Nicolas Gatsorgis, and I said, "Hi, my name is Felice Panagidis," and he looked up to me and said, "Do you speak Greek?" And I froze, because why would he ask me a question like that? We were in São Paulo, population over 11-12 million people, and I spoke Greek, but never received such a question from someone who was Brazilian. And I said, "Yes." He said, "I speak Greek too." And I said, oh my gosh, what a coincidence that was. You can believe that it was a miracle almost, because it was just so hard to believe. But this is where it gets even more interesting. So we obviously hit it off instantly because Nicholas has roots in Greece and spoke Greek too. And so we had an instant bonding there that solidified and became very, very successful over the years. So I ended up purchasing a few samples, and back then the only way you could really sell was on eBay. So I took some pictures, very amateurish pictures, and posted them on eBay. And that night I remembered vividly, I had a dream that several of the bikinis I posted had bids on. And I didn't know whether they had bids because back then not everyone had internet and Wi-Fi in their home. So I had to go to the office where I was working at. And, oops, sorry about that, slipped here. And so so the first coincidence was that I met Nicholas, who spoke Greek. The second one, that I had this vivid dream that there were bids on the bikinis that I posted. And finally, before stepping out of the house to see whether there were any bids on eBay at the office, on TV, CNN was interviewing this lady in Aldershot. She was a farmer who was hit by the mad cow disease. And they asked her, you know, how's she getting by now? And she said that she was selling lingerie to overweight women. And I said, oh my gosh, you know, if this lady can sell lingerie to overweight women, who was a farmer who had very little experience in online sales, imagine what I could do selling Brazilian bikinis in Brazil with my background and experience. So I got really, really excited about that. And so that was the third amazing coincidence, all within 24 hours. And finally I head to the office and I logged on the internet, and there you go. I had 7 bids on the 11 bikinis I posted. And everyone at the office was cheering and clapping, and it was really, really exciting. I strongly believe that life doesn't happen to you, but happens for you. And so all the signs were there. As Paulo Coelho says, the world conspires to make things happen for those who really believe in it. And this was a perfect example of it happening. It was like the perfect storm. It was meant to happen. And I share this story with you because, well, it's my story. We've been together. I'm part of the team, embedded in the factory, and with the whole Marajeo team, which they're all incredible. And now we export around the world and been together on this amazing journey. So that's kind of my story, my background. We support clients of all types, students, single moms, professional models, actresses, actors. The client profile is inspiring and incredible because there is no typical profile. It can be anybody and everybody, and that includes you who are watching. And I hope you're inspired, and this gives you confidence that you too can embark on this amazing journey. Many of our clients are repeat customers, which shows it is viable, and they come back year after year, sometimes 2-3 times a year, to launch their own collection. And so that's the story, and I hope you now know a little bit more about me. And I hope you like these videos, and I will continue to try to post one once a week. And there you go. All the best. Thank you so much for watching, and I want you to know how grateful and appreciative I am of all of you who are watching, who are considering buying, becoming a customer, and those who are not considering. It's just fun to be a part of this. Okay, all the best now. Thank you. Bye bye.